What is up, guys? It is Lynx. Welcome back to another Destiny video. So while I was on my trip, I had some time to think about my crucible setup, what is and what isn't working for me, and I thought I'd try out the Warlock. Now, I made this decision for various reasons, which I'll explain throughout this video, but ultimately I just switched from playing as a hunter to playing as a warlock. Now, since I've been back, I've played a lot of crucible with this setup, and I immediately saw an improvement. I was getting more kills, less deaths, and overall having more fun playing in the crucible. So today I'm going to be discussing my subclass setup, my weapon and armor setup, as well as my playstyle with the Warlock class, so let's go ahead and get into it. So when I play in the Crucible, I'll be rocking the Sunsinger subclass, so let's go ahead and break down each aspect of this subclass. So to start off, for my grenade, I'll be using the Firebolt grenade. Now I know this isn't as lethal as fusion grenades, as I'm sure you guys know fusion grenades have excellent tracking and when attached to an enemy is a guaranteed kill. Now I use the Firebolt grenades for a couple different reasons. Personally, I think it is more reliable. All you have to do is throw it in the vicinity of an enemy and it will do damage. If you throw a fusion grenade and miss, it's just a waste and it does no damage. I also use the Firebolt grenade because it can damage more than one enemy at a time, where the fusion grenade cannot. And the final reason I use this is to spot enemies. Now I know we have a constant radar in the Crucible, so if I'm running around and notice there might be a couple enemies in the next room, I throw a Firebolt grenade, and whenever the grenade shoots the Firebolt, you know there's a damaged enemy in there, so you know exactly where to look when you run through the door. This is also nice for people who sit in corners using shotguns. If you know they're there, you can easily throw a Firebolt grenade, damage them, and then jump around the corner and hit fire your last word for an easy kill. Next, for the jump. Personally, I like the Hunter triple jump better, and that's mostly because I've been using it for the past year and a half, but nonetheless, the Warlock jump does have its advantages. For my jump choice, I use the Focus Burst. This allows you to have an initial boost of speed every time you jump, allowing you to be very quick and get around the map quickly. Now, it may not be as evasive as, let's say, Shade Step or Blink, but personally, I'm not a fan of either of those. Now, the only drawback I can see of the glide jump is when you're moving to higher areas. You're kind of like a sitting duck because even though you do have that little boost of speed, after that boost is over, you move kind of slowly throughout the air. But luckily, there are a lot of areas where you'll be in the air for extended periods of time in the Crucible, so that downfall really doesn't apply to the Crucible, unless you're trying to get up to high sniper spots or just whatever in the Crucible. Next is my super. Now my super setup does change depending if I'm playing either regular Crucible, Clash, Rift, Skirmish, etc., or Trials. Now when I play Trials, I will always use Fireborn. Being able to come back to life in Trials can be the difference between winning and losing the game. But for regular Crucible, I rock Radiant Skin. Recently, I have fell in love with Rift, and in Rift, teams have set spawn points, so what I like to do in Rift is stay around the enemy spawn and get as many kills as I can. Radiant Skin helps out a lot with this. What it does is it reduces the damage you take while in your super, so it's a lot easier to run around and get kills. You don't have to be as cautious while you're in your super. Now, I will admit, coming back to life would be nice, but if you self-res in the enemy spawn and 4 of them are around you, chances are you're just going to die and not even going to use your super, and that's just kind of a waste. Now this next one's easy. For my melee, I use Flame Shield. Now this is the obvious choice. This really allows you to play a lot faster if you have your melee charged. You can get in close quarters combat and melee someone and gain a full shield. Now another reason why I love this melee is that it does do damage over time. So if your melee barely didn't kill them, then the damage over time could take them out. And the final reason I love this melee is if you have your super active and your melee's charged, it is a 1 melee kill as well as getting your full shield back. In my opinion, Warlocks have the best melee in the game, and that really helps out my playstyle as well. Now the next column is really up to you, but personally I run Arcane Force because it boosts agility, and like I said, I like to move around the map as quickly as I can. Now for the next column of perks, I run Viking Funeral. This perk allows my grenades to be a lot more effective. It burns the enemies longer and they take more damage over time. So, like my melee, if my grenade barely doesn't kill someone, then the burn from the Viking Funeral could possibly kill them. The next column again is up to you, but like I said before, I like to be a very speedy Warlock, so I use Chaos Order in order to boost my overall speed. Now for the final column, I use Gift of the Sun. The reason I picked this over the other two is easy. The first perk does allow my grenade to do more damage, but once I throw a grenade, I follow it up with my last word, so I don't really need to rely on Touch of Flame in order to kill enemies. And all the middle perk does is allow you to stop in midair when you aim. That's just asking to be killed. You're literally like a sitting duck in midair. And the final perk gives you an extra grenade. Having an extra grenade is crucial to my playstyle and allows me to be dominant, so it only makes sense to use that perk for my final one. So that about wraps it up for my subclass. Now let's go ahead and get into my weapons and armor. For my primary, I use the last word. This gun really fits my sort of faster playstyle, and it's one of the more dominant guns in the Crucible. I mean, you don't even have to aim with this gun in order for it to be effective. Overall, I love this gun, and I'm glad to see it being useful in the Crucible again. Now for my secondary, I run the 1,000-yard stare. Now this does help me play slower if I want to. I've got my last word for more of my run and gun kills, and then I have my sniper for the long range kills. Plus, I absolutely despise using shotguns. I just hate using shotguns. I can't even get myself to do it. Now my heavy slot is filled with the Raid machine gun. This, in my opinion, is the best machine gun to use in the Crucible and allows me to get quite a few kills. My armor at the moment isn't what I want it to be, but I've only been using my Warlock for like 2 or 3 days, so this will come the longer I play with it. And what I do want to show off is my exotic, the Claws of Ahamkara. These gloves give me an additional melee charge so I can have my flame shield twice. Now for my Warlock though, I will be running an Intellect Discipline build. The reason I'll be doing that instead of like an Intellect Strength or a Discipline Strength is because I need to have my grenades as often as I can, so that's where the Discipline comes in. Strength isn't a big priority because I do have 2 melee charges due to my exotic, and I don't really run around meleeing a whole lot anyway. Usually I get like 1 or 2 melee kills a game, plus I really only melee a lot when I'm in my super, and obviously as you know when you're in a super your melee recharges faster, so I don't really need a big strength build, but I do need an intellect build so that way I can have my super more throughout the game. Next, I'll be talking about my playstyle with this setup. So like I've said many times in this video already, I like to play fast, and this class really lets me do that. Whenever I know I'm going to be getting into an engagement, I throw a firebolt grenade. Primarily, I do this to damage any enemies nearby, automatically giving me the upper hand, then I rush at them or around them and hip fire my last word. By using this grenade, I will not only damage them, but like I explained earlier, I will also know exactly where they are, allowing me to lock on them and get the easy kill. Now, the reason I pointed out that I hip fire my last word is because that is very important. Now, I used to aim in with the last word, and I would do okay, but then someone pointed out in one of my videos that I should try hip firing, so I tried it, and it actually works out. Plus, if you hip fire, you do extra damage and have better accuracy, so really just hip firing with the last word is what you're supposed to do. It all works out. Not to mention, I have the choice to get up and personal and use my melees and then swap to the last word for an easy kill. Alrighty guys, so that about wrap up this video for today. We talked about my overall playstyle in the Crucible, so what I want you guys to do is let me know down in the comments below what you guys think of it, or if there's anything I need to adjust, or anything you agree, or anything you disagree with. I kind of want to know what you guys think about my playstyle for anything and everything Destiny. This has been Lynx. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next Destiny video.